Hey guys, Chris here. In this video, I'm going to give you guys a detailed tour of the brand new Volvo EX30. I was lucky and got to take a look at this car and make a video back in June at the launch. I haven't seen this car since then. Since then, I've taken a look at the Smart #1, which is the corporate cousin. I've tested and done tours of a whole bunch of other electric cars, so it's going to be fun and interesting to visit this car again. The car we're looking at today is a single motor extended range in the trim level called Ultra, and this color is called Cloud Blue. This is the same color I saw when I was at the launch back in Italy, in Milan in June, and it looks as nice. I'm a real huge fan of this color. I think you can also equip the EX90 with this color now, and the interior is called Breeze. So this does have 20-inch wheels, and it is on winter tires. This car actually belongs to Volvo car in Ökern. They only have it on display here for a few days here at Frydenbø in Kokstad. So huge thanks to Frydenbø Kokstad letting me film this car at their location today. So I've had a little bit of time to look at this car and ponder about it ever since the launch, and I like it as much as I did when I first saw it. I'm a huge fan of the front end with these unique LED DRLs with the headlights down here and the high beams there. It has this unique Volvo Thorsheimer look that we first saw with the EX90. They aren't as advanced in this as they are in that car because there, you know, these open up like eyes and eyelashes. Here, all is fixed, but you still get that same design language. You have that clean front with no grille. You have some ventilation or openings for the radiators down low in the fascia here, but other than that, this is a very, very clean design. Walking off over to the side, you can see that this is actually quite a small car. I think this is the shortest car on this platform now, and if I'm not mistaken, I think the wheelbase is 2,650 millimeters, and the length is like 4.21 meters. I may be remembering that wrong, but I'm going to put all the specs on the screen for you guys now, but I think that is correct. Somehow that number just popped in my head, and it seems very familiar. So this is closely related to the Zeekr X, which is bigger, and also the Smart #1, which is also bigger. I did a video on the Smart #1 at the launch here in Norway a few months back, and I was impressed by that car. All of these are built on the same platform, but this by far is the best looking. So we have the charge port here, manually operated, which is nice. You have these covers for the DC or the AC and the DC charging port here, which is okay at this price point, but in more expensive cars we see more advanced and nicer covers. But in this car, it is fine. So this is on 245/40/20s. It's actually on winter tires because this car has actually been driven from Oslo over the mountain to Bergen. I do like the wheel design of these optional 20-inch wheels. They do look pretty cool. And then you have the side here, the rear end, the rear three-quarter. You have that split taillight design with that, you know, that C shape and with that shape on top of, or on the D pillar rather. ABC, it's actually the C pillar. This doesn't have D pillars. And then you have the EX30 badging there. You have the blacked out roof. Overall, it is a very stylish and good looking car, the Volvo EX30. I really do like the rear end of this car. So before we take a look at the interior, let's open up the trunk here. If we can find the button. Where's the button? Shouldn't there be a button here? No, it's here. So I was looking for a button below the bumper, above the number plate, but it's actually here above the L. And that's nice because in winter, the section down here does get dirty. So again, I'm going to put the specs for the trunks and the trunk and the frunk and all that interior, all those specs here, but not the biggest trunk because this is not the biggest car. It is actually a subcompact, but you do have a lot of underfloor storage here with place for cables. You have hooks here so you can attach a net, and you have your first aid kit there. You have your, hazard triangle there if you have an emergency stop. So overall, easy to access, easy to use. Yeah, that's about it. And this is interesting. This is the same button as in the Lotus Electra, the corporate, not a corporate cousin, but the brand is also owned by Geely, who also owns Volvo. So it's interesting to see that they are sharing some of the same switchgear, and that is a more expensive car. So before we hop in, let's take a look at the frunk. I think this has a frunk, right? 1 and 2. So this cool clamshell hood, this design here, and then there should be a latch. No, there's no latch. That's nice. There's no latch. So you have your washer fluid here, and then you have your frunk here, which you actually have room for your Type 2 charging cable. So that's nice to have your own storage there in the front. That's always where I store my cables. I think that's a nice place to have them. So it's nice to see that you have not a big frunk, but a big enough frunk to store your cables. Today's video is brought to you by Zaptec, one of the best home chargers on the market. It can charge a car up to 22 kilowatts on AC charging and will work with every electric car on the market, including Tesla. It's stylish, cool, and sleek, and you can order it in a bunch of different colors. It actually won Best in Test in the Norwegian Automobile Association's Test of Chargers in 2022. So if you want to support the channel, go to the link down below, find your country, click the link, and order a Zaptec Go home charger from there. Before we take a step inside, I want to show you that this car has traditional door handles. We don't see that much today, so no trickery here. Just your traditional door handles. You have an indentation here for keyless lock and keyless entry, and you only have that on the front doors. That's typical on these cars that are at the lower price point. So there's no sensor here on the rear door handles, only on the front doors. There should be one on the passenger door as well. You also have these beautiful frameless mirrors with this black housing, so that's much appreciated. So let's hop in and take a look at the interior. So let's start off with the door. A very simple design, but I do appreciate that they have taken the time to give it quite nice materials. You have this soft touch Nordico trim here on top, which is black, and then you have this beautiful insert there, which is made out of recycled materials, which kind of looks like terrazzo or terrazza tiles. Not sure how you pronounce that, but I think you guys know what I mean. It just gives this, interior, which is quite simple and minimalistic in the design, just some pizzazz. I really do like that. And then you have this metal strip here with this beautiful grab handle. I just like the way that looks and how that is integrated. And then you have your armrest here also in soft touch Nordico. And then this here is hard touch plastics. Again, at this price point, you're going to see some hard touch plastics down low in the cabin. And then on the insert here, you also have that Nordico material, the same you have on the seats. So these seats look pretty nice. You have that beautiful Nordico material there, and then you have some fabrics here on the seat back. And like other Volvo seats, I think these are going to be super comfortable. So let's take a step inside and what this looks like. So right away, people may be thinking, where is the driver display? Well, there is no driver display. You have one central screen here. You're going to have your speed information up here in the left corner, and I personally don't think that's an issue. I've never complained about this in Tesla Model 3 or Tesla Model Y. So if it works as good in this car as it does in that car, I'm not going to have an issue with it at all. But other people may have an issue. That's your personal opinion, and people have different tastes, but I don't think I'm going to have any issue with that at all. It just gives everything a clean look also. I do like that, but I do understand if people do prefer, a driver display, because that is nice. I'm not going to say anything else. So you have this steering wheel here, which is kind of a squircle. And it's interesting, I spent the whole day in a Lotus Electra, and this does feel a lot smaller because it is a lot smaller also. Much, simpler design, but you do have fabric here, and then you have, that Nordico trim here. This interior is called Breeze, this color. And you also have more of that, recycled material here with a little bit of texture. I think it's interesting. I really like that. Would I like it in a car that was 100,000 euros? Probably not. But this car, which is starting like in the low 30s, mid 30s, I think it's fine. I think it's actually quite interesting. So you have this beautiful central display here. I haven't had a chance to look at it too much, but maybe we can see if this is not too buggy. This is still I think this is a production car, but it's very early. So this is very different to what we've seen from Volvo before. This is your home screen, this is your map. Does it do route planning? So if we do Oslo here, for example, let's do Oslo. Let's see if it does route planning with charging. It seems snappy. Yeah, look at that. So it's going to give us, it says, yeah, it's going to give us 2 charging stops. So this is pretty nice. Looks like everything is working. This is the same we see, you know, in the Volvo C40, EX30, and also the Polestar 2. But this is just, you know, an updated version of that navigation system with the rest of the infotainment system here. So it's going to recommend us 2 charging sessions. It's going to recommend these for 15 minutes and that for 50 minutes also. So that's pretty easy, pretty nice to use. One of the best route planners on the market, seems to be updated here. So let's see, you have some apps here. You have maps, Bluetooth audio, YouTube, Google Assistant. You can also download more apps there. You can do Spotify native, it seems like. Let's see what happens here with the climate. Okay. So you don't have, oh, that's a pity. You don't have the climate always on the bottom screen like you do on a Polestar 2 or a Volvo C40. I think that's an interesting decision. But again, I don't have a lot of time. They just closed the doors here. I don't want to keep the guys waiting too long, but that's just a quick view of the infotainment system. Hopefully, I'll get to drive a press car of the EX30 in a few weeks in January. So rest of the interior, pretty sparse, pretty minimalistic. But again, at this price point for this type of vehicle, I don't think it is too bad. You have 1 wireless charger there. You have more storage for your phones there. And then you have more center storage here. And then here, this should be a shelf. Cup holders. I think you can close one at a time. Yeah, so you can have 1 cup holder if you want, or you can do both like that. Okay, that's pretty nice. And then you have your window controls here, but you have to press this rear to open up the rear. And then you have your unlock and lock. And then there should be some storage. No, there's no storage here because that's taken by the cup holders. Okay, so that's interesting. I think this Nordico material here, which is like halfway between like a wetsuit material and leather, is interesting. Is it a premium material that's good enough for a Volvo EX90? I'm not sure. We'll have to see the EX90 with this material because we haven't seen that yet. We've only seen the wool blend interiors. So before we hop into the rear, this has, you know, a gear selector here on the right hand. So now you only have 1 stock for all your functions, your windshield wipers, your blinkers, and all of that. I'm not a huge fan of that. I would have preferred if they kept the, you know, the stock here and then did that shifter somewhere else, but that's what we're gonna get now with these new Volvo. So let's hop into the rear seat. Let's just see that I'm sitting in a comfortable position. Maybe I could, yeah, that's pretty nice. I don't have to move the seat more up front than that. So let's hop into the back. And from what I remember, testing this car or looking at this car in Milan, the rear seats are pretty cramped, and they are. So they have not gotten any bigger from June till now. So this is maybe the hugest, you know, gripe with the EX30 is that it has very cramped rear seats for your legs, but headroom is actually pretty decent thanks to this large panoramic sunroof. So I'm 5'10" or 178 centimeters, so an average adult in the West, and I'm fine for shorter trips, but just moving up to like a C40, XC40 is going to give you a much bigger rear seat. So there we go, guys. That was my detailed tour of the interior and the exterior of the Volvo EX30, my second look. And this time I didn't have a lot of time like last time. They've had this car displayed here all day. I was here early in the morning to test drive a Lotus Electra because they're also a Lotus dealer here at Frydenbø, and there have been people swarming around this car all day because I think this is the first time it has been displayed in Bergen at a dealer. So my only chance was to film it now. I was hoping to do a little bit more of a detailed tour, but this is a simple car. There isn't too much to show. But I still hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below. And for more car content, as always, please subscribe. See you guys later and goodbye.